Hey guys, before I get started talking about the combat in Dark Souls 3, I'd like to talk a little bit about the overall game. I love this game, and anybody who has a PS4, an Xbox One, or a decent enough PC should definitely pick it up. I experienced some bugs here and there and a few problems, but nothing overall game breaking. I had some frame rate issues and some slowdown, but I was playing on the console version. The PC version probably doesn't have those problems as much, provided you have a good enough PC. I just want to add to this, I am what the Dark Souls gaming community would consider a filthy casual. I do summon in help with a lot of the bosses. I struggle a lot with them, and if I die too many times I just get frustrated and don't want to play anymore. And a lot of people would probably tell me to get good or whatever, but I enjoy the game this way. I occasionally struggled with summoning people in. I don't know if that's an error with the game and other people are experiencing that, but I have kind of bad internet, so I probably can't blame that on the game entirely. Didn't really enjoy using the bonfires to travel around from the very beginning as much as in Dark Souls 1 that you had to explore, and it felt much more like Firelink Shrine was this central hub that sent you off to other places. I kind of preferred in Dark Souls 1 where everything was a bit more interconnected and you didn't really have to go through any loading screens. It made the world feel a lot more real to me. That's just my preference. And is it just me, or are some of the bonfires like crazy close to one another? Unnecessarily so. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about the combat in Dark Souls 3. Bear in mind, all I'm going to be talking about is the sword combat in Dark Souls 3. I don't really understand other weapons, and some of them are just a little bit too far-fetched. Basically, if a sword looks like this, it's more realistic than if it looks like this. So I'm basically going to be comparing the combat in Dark Souls to practical, real-world swordsmanship. I should say, before you watch any more of this video, I'm no master. I have a basic understanding of practical longsword techniques, and most of my practice has been done in my back garden with a curtain pole.
And now our feature presentation.
Okay, first of all, how do you do this? How do you roll while you're holding a sword of that size? I've got to give this a go.
Take one, action man.
Oh, I did it. So dangerous. That was sharp. Let's talk about the basic techniques. So your basic sword swings that look like this. They're pretty realistic. You could do them in real life, although you wouldn't want to. If you notice, he pulls the sword back and really loads those strikes before he does them, telegraphing the move that he's about to do. He also overswings. Doesn't need to throw the blade so wildly around. But then again, I've never faced anything that looks like this. And if I did, I might forget all of that curtain pole practice. New weapon arts that have been included in the game are great, and they add a nice new flavour. I really enjoyed them. Again, I'm only going to be talking about the sword ones, and the stance that you take when you use the weapon arts looks a little bit like Ox in German longsword. Again, the swinging the sword suffers from the same overswing and loaded strikes. The character in Dark Souls seems to think he's wielding a baseball bat rather than a sharp, bladed weapon. It's still pretty awesome to see something like that in Dark Souls, and I enjoyed it a lot. So basically, the techniques in Dark Souls are realistic. You could do it in real life, and they're not ridiculous. They just aren't very practical. Would probably get you killed in a sword fight quite quickly. But hey, it's just a game, and an awesome one at that, so get out there and check it out. I never talk like that. Why did I say check it out? Ugh.